Broadway's biggest night only comes around once a year. We're here on the red carpet for the 2015 Tony Awards with a recap of the winners.
It's extraordinary. I still don't believe it.
Well, I promise it's really happening. I promise it is.
Really? Because I'm half expecting to get to the door and they're like, Alex, who?
Do you have credentials? Do you have an ID?
I'm afraid you weren't nominated. It's been a big mistake.
Makeup, prosthetics, and one memorable mask. It's all part of Thelma Pollard's job behind the scenes of Broadway's longest running show. In this week's Backstage on Broadway, she took some time out so we could catch up.
Miss, we're having an interview here. You can't talk that loud. Where are we again?
Thelma Pollard is a woman in control.
Let's go back and talk a little bit about you and where you came from and how you got here.
Oh, let's see. I walk here, just kidding.
She's also got quite the sense of humor.
It's the beginning of the 1 hour process.
But backstage, it's all business. Thelma makes up Broadway's most recognizable face.
In all your fantasies.
She's worked on Phantom of the Opera since its debut 28 years ago.
30 Phantoms, almost all the Phantoms, right?
Almost all of them.
All of them.
Including the understudies.
A big job done in a very small space.
Let me, can I go over the other side?
Could it be any smaller, you think?
Did you ever ask for a bigger room?
How could you ask for a bigger room? Where are we gonna go?
I don't know.
That don't work like that.
Broadway's dirty laundry is front and center in this week's Backstage on Broadway. We stop by one company crucial to making sure the Great White Way runs clean and smooth every single day. Wash, press, fold. It's a load of work here at Ernest Windsor Cleaners.
Talk to me about what we're surrounded by right now.
You're surrounded by the Broadway costumes.
Stay over there.
For the 20 employees who work here, it's showtime all the time.
My drivers pick up at night. They drop off here around midnight. We start at like 3 in the morning on average, and everything goes back at lunchtime.
Every day?
Every day we have something. Not every show.
While speed is key, so is detail.
Most shows don't have 2 sets of everything, right?
They don't have 2 sets of anything.
So when they drop them off.
Right. We can't have any do-overs. We can't have missing buttons. We can't have hanging hems. We can't have stains. We can't have poorly pressed clothes. And we definitely can't have missing pieces.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You can put all these little sparkles and sequins and all that in there?
Yeah, everything here is set up, with the right programs and stuff for the costumes.
Costumes that have been worn by some of Broadway's biggest names.
Do we have Bradley Cooper, like the shirt that he wears in Elephant Man?
It was here yesterday.
It was here yesterday?
Yeah.
I could have put a little note right in there, right?
You could have.
What are you going to do over there without your job? I met up with the award-winning actress. She's taking on a new role, directing Rashida Speaking.
It's not so much about someone who is proudly racist, right? It is about our unconscious racism.
Nixon says it's a message that resonates now more than ever.
I think it's been astonishing for people of all races to see how we can look at the same situation and people of different colors have a really different interpretation.
The Brooks Atkinson Theater, part of the history here is that it's where I made my Broadway debut as an actor.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
It's a blast from the past for award-winning actor David Hyde Pierce.
So this is where I used to live, and now it's full of hair, and I'm not. So.
The quick-witted performer took us backstage of his new show, It Should Have Been You. He's taking on a different type of role this time around, making his directorial debut.
This was the thing that made me want to direct, or at least made me want to direct this. I love the piece.
Broadway was brighter than usual Thursday night.
I can't wait.
The stars were out for the opening of Hamilton.
It will revolutionize American theater.
It's the first time I'm thinking past tomorrow.
Using a blend of hip-hop, rap, and jazz, it takes you on a journey of Alexander Hamilton's life, from orphan to war hero to Secretary of the Treasury.
It sounds like I reinvented it, but really it's just a big old-fashioned musical.
We caught up with the cast right after curtain call.
It feels like the thing I've been waiting my whole life for.
Definitely my favorite thing that I've ever worked on.
Part of the hype comes from who's already seen it. President Obama and his daughters took in a matinee last month and gave it a standing ovation.
He said, what we have is something that's good that people recognize in the moment, and that's really rare.
And while they all played different founding fathers on stage, we wanted to know who these guys would actually want to grab a drink with.
Ben Franklin.
Oh man, I want to talk to Aaron Burr so bad.
Franklin, he'd drink me under the table.
John Adams, just to make him feel better.
What?
like, just give it to me.
Yes, New Yorkers know their rats.
There you go, Tobes.
But this is no typical rat. Meet Toby, one of Broadway's leading ladies.
I was terrified. Like, seriously, my nightmares were rats coming at me. Like, that was...
Because you're a real New Yorker.
Right. Yes, because I'm a New Yorker. And, you know, and I was just so terrified, but I wanted the gig.
Do you want to be back here, Lydia, to catch them by the doors?
Animal trainers like Lydia and Kelly are a big part of the production when an animal is involved in a show.
Hi.
Ooh. But before any close-ups, there's plenty of rehearsal time off stage.
The main priority is just to have them totally desensitized as far as loud sounds.
And the demand for pets on Broadway isn't slowing down. That's why it seems everyone is trying to get in on the action.
There's a cat outside. Is it supposed to be outside?
Yes,
Okay.
that's our neighbor's cat. Who comes to visit, and sometimes when the kids are out.
Is that supposed to be on Broadway?
I think she's auditioning.
She's like, hello,
Right.
I hear you pay.
Toss, toss.
Oh yeah, toss toss. It's a signature move of Glinda.
This is the famous bubble dress. It weighs approximately 40 pounds.
The Good Witch of Oz is showing us her home away from home.
That's my mom and my grandma and my sister.
The native New Yorker brought us to the stage and spilled some secrets.
These are our school books, and they're actually in German.
Oh, they are?
So that we don't get distracted as we're on the stage. I think it's German.
There was no yellow brick road, but we made it to the great and powerful Oz.
May I have a huge new shoe collection? Please, Oz.
Can I have a mansion in Hawaii?
Oh, that too. But there couldn't be a story about Oz without the Wicked Witch of the West. So we dropped in to see what it's like to become the Green Girl.
Welcome.
Before you're green.
Before I'm green.
Caroline Bowman transforms into Elphaba. Each show, a process that takes about 45 minutes.
Do you ever get it all off? I mean, there's always remnants of the Green Girl.
And it's totally worth it. Getting this role was a dream come true.
What's really cool is when I was 16 years old, for my sweet 16th birthday present, Wicked was my present. I saw the show and was like, I want to do that.
Bowman started as an understudy in 2011.
I really wanted to finish out my Elphaba journey and play the role and really dive into it.
And we will start.
Ooh. I'm still waiting for Oz to grant my wish though, so I decided to stay and join the cast.
I think it's time for my close-up.
This is my baby.
Your
This
baby.
is post-show.
Okay.
I need to make that very clear. Post-show.
All right. Christian Borle is toasting to a great year.
This has to be the most popular dressing room, right?
I have to lure people in because my natural personality doesn't.
And that may be the case backstage, but on stage, he can't keep people away.
Who's Oz? Big applause.
You've got some moves, a lot of moves that people have captured now in the show. Why do you laugh?
Because it's a finite amount of moves. It's basically hips to the left, hips to the right.
Right.
And a couple.
But for some reason, people go crazy, right?
Well, the pants are very tight. Wait. Yep, it's 5.
We checked in with a couple of other castmates.
There's the ice maker.
There's that most important part of the dressing room.
There it is.
An ice maker for?
Ice maker.
For the...
Oh! Even at 21, I thought, I can't wait to be 30.
It was supposed to be the best year of her life. Krista Rodriguez thought she'd have it all figured out.
But then, like, as 30 was approaching, it started to feel very uneasy. And you know, maybe it was a harbinger of things to come. Maybe I knew what was on the way.
One day, while doing a self-exam, she felt a lump in her left breast.
Before I had made the ultrasound appointment, I had had the discharge coming from the left side.
Rodriguez got the ultrasound and a biopsy. It was cancer.
The tumor was like 8 centimeters. It was very big.
That 6-week-long show gave her the extra push she needed for the next step in her battle with cancer, a double mastectomy and breast reconstruction.
It really came down to longevity. The mastectomy was horrifically painful. I mean, the recovery from that, and the expanders are very uncomfortable. They're hard.
Soon after, she got the call, Spring Awakening coming to Broadway. This version stars several deaf performers.
And that I find to be inspiring and heroic.
Rodriguez says things are good right now. She's moving in with her boyfriend and is currently cancer-free and taking life one day at a time.
People who I interact with are very quick to want to label me a survivor or that I've been cured of cancer. And I'm not comfortable yet in that. I don't know when I'll ever feel like I'm done, but I'll just keep myself busy until then.
I used to get down to that office at 9 o'clock sharp, no matter how I felt.
Theater,
I cherish because that's how I started.
He made his theater debut in 1957. 2 Tonys and decades of iconic TV shows and movies later, the voice of Darth Vader has returned to the stage.
No, I am your father.
Not as a father, but as a grandfather, and you can't take it with you.
Why do you think this one resonates over and over?
Well, it's written by 2 geniuses. It is timeless. The subject is timeless.
I don't see what anybody would follow you for it.
First on Broadway in 1936, this is the 3rd revival of this comedy about an offbeat Manhattan family during the Great Depression.
I love watching this play from the inside. What goes on stage cracks me up.
Is that pressure when you step on stage and the audience is anticipating you coming out?
I wish that wouldn't happen.
Really? Why?
It gets in the way.
Does it distract?
Yeah. But we appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I remember performing in shows as a kid just because it was fun and it was like where the cute girls were during the summer.
Jokes aside, his passion lies away from the bright lights of Broadway.
We had this crazy idea to found an organization to bring American artists to Madagascar to work with at-risk kids using storytelling theater to empower them.
That organization is called Zara Aina, a Malagasy expression that means share life.
Using theater and imaginative storytelling can open up their mind about what might be possible.
Hincom's giving spirit reaches from the tots to the troops. He also volunteers with Outside the Wire, a company that brings performances to our armed forces overseas.
You come back with an incredible perspective and everything seems a little less important and a little more important.
The real-life story of Joseph Merrick in the film by David Lynch is what inspired Bradley Cooper to become an actor.
When I was in grad school, I didn't even know there was a play, and then they said, "What do you want to do for your thesis?" And I said, "What is it?" And then they said, "There's a play by Bernard Palmer." I said, "Oh my God!" And then I got to know the man, and I got to do a tremendous amount of research and really fall in love with this guy.
Bradley Cooper plays the title role without prosthetics or makeup.
It's amazing to see Bradley become this man, yet he's still Bradley.
Now a lot of critics say Bradley had better make room on his mantle for a Tony Award for The Elephant Man. In other words, the role he was born to play could pay off in more ways than one.
You said that your father actually saw you do the thesis, correct?
Yeah, he did, and that was the first time he sort of said, I think you can make a living doing this, because, post Georgetown tuition, what the hell's my son thinking?
I think I had that conversation with my dad too, actually.
He makes me laugh a lot, every day.
See, it's not just your good looks.
I saw it was about sex, but they say it makes me laugh, so that's it. Sometimes you get
What is wrong with you?
It's Gloria and Emilio Estefan, as you would expect, real and real down to earth.
How do you make things work like you do?
You tell yes to your wife everything. Yes, baby, yes, baby,
right.
yes.
Okay. I don't believe that.
Learn that.
A 37-year romance that blossomed from their time together with the world-famous Miami Sound Machine.
I joined the band for fun and never dreaming it would turn into what it turned into.
Now the legendary duo is taking on a new project, a Broadway musical based on their lives called On Your Feet.
What is it like to see your story play out on a stage?
You know what is weird? Of course, the guy looks so much better than me that I wasn't dumb. I said, I want to get somebody better looking and improve Emilio.
It's never allowed. I think it was an amazing film, and I can't take anything away from that, but it's all about the imagination, and I think there's no better place for the imagination to live than in the theater.
It's a White House.
And this Thanksgiving, Morrison brought that sense of wonder to the first family for the TLC special, Broadway at the White House.
It's so funny because I feel like I know them now.
Right. Michelle and Barack.
Michelle and Barack. But I've sang for them like 8 times now.
But you're kind of part of the family.
I guess so. They never invite me upstairs to their living quarters.
No, well, it's all right. Maybe 10 times you sing for them, and maybe you get an
You
invite.
get the pass.
What an honor to be here. What an honor. You're doing great, everybody. Big fan.
Jerry O'Connell is taking over the Pix 11 newsroom.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
What an honor to come up to Pix. I love it. I love you, Mox.
All right.
You're the best.
It's a place this actor feels right at home.
I grew up in New York. I grew up with Pix. There was a game called Pix where you would play as a kid, where you go Pix, and you'd fire ships, and it was in the afternoon. And it
Did
you play that game?
I sent in a letter. They never picked me.
I am so sorry.
I know.
Now he's back on the Broadway stage in the screwball comedy Living on Love. Also starring legendary opera singer Renee Fleming, who helps him bear it all on stage. Well, sort of.
Chemistry.
I heard some nudity. Did I hear that right?
There is partial nudity on my part.
Okay.
I don't want to freak anyone out. It is not full frontal. I will not be showing my thingy.
A story Tyson Janetti is proud to tell.
I dreamed last night I got on the boat to heaven.
I grew up in the Bronx, in a section of the Bronx called Parkchester, and my parents were both deaf. So I spent a lot of time in my room with the radio, loud and blasting and screaming at the top of my lungs. I kind of see it as my initial vocal training, if you will.
But just before his freshman year of high school, Tyson lost his mother.
It was just a tough time, of course, for a 13-year-old. I went to high school at Brooklyn Technical High School. In my second year, I decided that I was going to quit school. But right before I did that, I went to a teacher. His name was Jim Dibenedetto.
A teacher who would ultimately change his life.
Hey.
You're late to my class, you know. He was truant. He was down to his last 6 months here. He wanted to stay, and he approached me about being in chorus. I made him sing for me right in the dean's office in front of all the other students. And I said, okay. So we made a deal.
If you come to my class, you have to go to all your classes before and all your classes afterwards. It pretty much was a way that I found my voice, you know, and I really found a purpose in my life.
A purpose he wanted to pursue, but growing up in a home with deaf parents, Tyson felt he had a duty to stay the course. He was the first in his family to go to college, majoring in speech pathology. Then 9/11 happened. A few months later, his dad suddenly passed away.
Just another example of how fast life can just go.
So he decided to pursue his passion, the theater. Tyson is a swing, which means he covers 11 different roles in the show.
Most times I don't know if I'm going to be on stage until I get to work or I get a phone call.
You can't be prouder than to see a kid you worked with, you know, become so successful and do so well. It's an amazing feeling.
I cried the entire first half.
I feel that my parents are in a place now that they can really, really understand and know their child for who he is and what he can do. And that fills me with joy every day.
You think they can hear your voice today?
I do. I do.
Alex Sharp.
So what'd you think when your name was called a few weeks ago, Tony night?
Many profanities and awful words popped into my head. The panic and the fear of vomiting.
I caught up with the 26-year-old actor backstage, fresh off his huge win for Best Lead Actor in a Play.
You also have to be someone who would like being on their own in a tiny spacecraft.
It's probably physically, emotionally, mentally taxing every day. Is your daily routine any different?
Oh yeah, massively. I had to
so?
really change my lifestyle. Well, giving up cigarettes was the first thing.
That's, if anything comes out of this aside from a Tony, that's a good thing.
It is, it is.
If the story is really good, it can make you think about who you are.
One thing in my work that I definitely want to do is to inspire.
This is what being an artist means for Patricia Ione Lloyd and Eric Lockley. Both are up-and-coming playwrights based in New York. Both are young. Both are completely different people with different stories to tell.
As a young Black homeless girl, I was invisible. I would go to the local mall and I would sit on a bench and I would watch people and I would make up stories about them.
As a middle schooler, I would come in every week with this story that I started about me and my friends and add new pages every week.
And it didn't take long for Lloyd and Lockley to realize writing plays was more than just a hobby.
In the future, it will be part of our history. So it's important to include diverse stories.
So writers like Lloyd and Lockley are doing their part to share those stories.
Tonight, our show is going to be about them, about the Blacks, Afro-Americans.
While their mouths are open laughing, you can slip some truth in there.
Lockley has helped start 2 Harlem-based theater companies, the Movement Theater and Harlem 9.
We want to play some relevant, exciting, fun characters now who are contemporary and who speak like we do.
Lloyd was selected to the Public Theater's prestigious Emerging Writers Group.
My goal was to give people entertainment that would make them think. No matter what your circumstances are, you write your own story, and it can be whatever you want it to be.
It's a terrifying evening that we all spend when we wait for the reviews.
A feeling the cast knows too well.
It's unbearable.
Opening night is horrible.
Horror turned to humor by four-time Tony-winning playwright Terrence McNally.
You know when you meet someone and you know instantly that they're your friend? Absolutely. That's what his work does for me.
He's my favorite writer.
I only created the lead in his one and only hit, and no mention. The egos in this business.
Broadway veteran Nathan Lane takes on the role of a stage actor turned TV star.
I think you walk into a room and people smile. Do you know that?
That's because my fly is always open.
There he is, America's oldest living, most promising young playwright. Hello, Peter.
Jimmy, you came.
Joining him on stage, longtime pal Matthew Broderick in the role of the play's writer.
I love him, you know, and I love working with him. One of my ears is listening to him right now,
I know.
so.
His voice is just always.
Yeah, it's a tuba. He's a big tuba.
I like when I beat the out of the kid.
This is not your typical puppet.
The smallest of cuts, the Achilles tendon, will cripple a man for life.
Sometimes they throw change, which I pick up, but it is a little insulting.
His name is Tyrone, and he's the pint-sized villain making a big mark on Broadway.
I want you to stop stepping on my laps.
He stars alongside Geneva Carr in the new dark comedy, Hand to God. Both actors have been with the show since the beginning, a 4-year journey they hold dear to their hearts.
It's been a hard road. I mean, I've spent the last 14 years, much of it unemployed, you know, scraping and just trying to pay the rent.
Before the theater, I mean, what was I was a banker. I went to college in Paris and I became an actor because I saw a play at EST.
And with the Tony Awards just a few weeks away, these first-time nominees can barely contain their excitement.
I'm hoping not to pass out.
But not everyone is happy for them.
Yeah, it's bull because I'm playing 2 roles. I'm playing me and the kid.
Standing up to bullies, a cause he takes on in his new role as Lola in the 6-time Tony Award-winning musical Kinky Boots.
It's a message of be yourself, no matter what anyone else says. Be strong. Never let them tell you who you are to be.
A message he wishes someone shared with him when he was being picked on as a kid.
It's super easy to be negative, but at the end of the day, it's much harder to be a positive person that stands up for yourself.
In this case, he's standing up in red, glittery, high-heeled platform boots.
It's a full-on workout. It's one of the toughest roles I think I've ever done.
Oh, Papa's got a brand new shoe.
Now they also share an appreciation for what it takes to walk around in heels.
I think I've been a bad boyfriend to whomever I was dating at the time or my ex-wife. Come on, we're walking to the airport. Come on the flight. Why are you in those heels? Let's go. We did it. Never again. Maybe you know what? Take your time. Here, can I give you a piggyback?
He was fun. He lived his life to the fullest every single day.
It was November 21st, 2003, a night that changed the Wheeler family forever.
I got a call from DJ's friend who was in the car with him. He just said that they were in an accident, and I drove over and I ran to the scene. DJ was underneath the car at that point.
3 hours later, 18-year-old DJ Wheeler died at the hospital.
We just sat there till the sun came up. And one by one, we all said goodbye to him.
Today, a memorial remains at the accident site.
Seeing that memorial tree had a big effect on me. It was this constant reminder of how fragile life is.
Vinny Favali entered the Wheelers' life 11 years ago.
I didn't know the family at the time. It resonated with me because I lost 2 brothers when I was younger.
Vinny came with an idea, a play about dealing with the death of a loved one.
Did you have a mixed reaction to it? Oh, I guess that's yes.
I would give up all and smile.
There's really no expiration on grief. That's why this play to me is so great, because it keeps the memory of DJ alive.
You know how it goes. There's always so much more we can't fit in, but you can check it all out on our website, pix11.com/Tonys. I'm Tamsin Fidel. Let's send it back to you.